Hey YouTube friends and family, today I'm working on my 2008 Ford Territory, replacing, to be more specific, replacing the spark plugs on it. The story goes, there's my cheap plates, awesome. The story goes behind it is that the car didn't start last weekend. Essentially got the whole family in the car and it wouldn't start. I had a feeling, well, not a feeling, but I had a gut feeling that I was going to need to replace the spark plugs one day, because I don't know the full history of the car. The car's got about 190,000 kilometers on it now, and I bought it about 6,000 k's ago, so very new to me. When it started, the longer I had it, it started taking a bit longer to start. It wasn't underpowered. I've read a few things about what to look for if it is the spark plugs. Now I must say I'm not sure if this is the spark plugs, but I'm going to replace them anyway. You know, this way I know they've been done, and we rule it out. That's one thing. So I essentially, the car wouldn't start. Left it overnight. Long story short. Checked the battery seemed fine, oil, all the obvious things, and they all look good. I did charge the battery just in case it wasn't fully charged. I thought it may be in the alternator or something like that was going. I'm no mechanic, but been around cars enough to sort of get into trouble. So the next day I went to start it up. It took a few goes, and it really ran really rough for about 10-15 seconds, and then started running smooth again. So I wasn't going to drive it knowing that. So first thing I did call a mechanic and went to get a diagnostic or get their opinion on it. And they tested a few things. They didn't charge, obviously. I just dropped in, and they said, first thing to do is the spark plugs, and they were busy. They couldn't book me in for 2 weeks, so I thought I'd do the plugs myself. I've got some time now, and I just got them online. I've got a set of Bosch spark plugs for about $90. Platinum they are as well for these cars, and so the mechanic also charges $150 an hour. So the job to an experienced mechanic, I would say, it would take about half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that, setting up and everything. Shouldn't take any longer than that, but they'll quote an hour, so it'll be anywhere from 150 to 200, I'd say. So doing it myself, save some cash, blabbing on a bit, but I just want to give a bit of a history on what happened, I guess, to lead to this point. So basically for replacing the spark plugs, what I've been told and seen is that the hardest part of it all is the back. So trying to get to one of the bolts at the back to take, you've got to take the plastic intake, I think, off, which is pretty simple. 2 bolts there, 10mm, okay, and then you just pull that off. There's like an elastic type of metal band on it that you just pull off and then insert back on. Take that little hose off there, take the oil cap off, because you've got to take this black cover off. That's all that needs to come on to reveal the plugs. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th is under the intake. 8. So there's 8 bolts all up. Now that one's the hardest to take off, and then the plug under there, the 6th plug, I'm not sure if it's a 6th, but the last plug is also the hardest to take out because there's no space, essentially, to work with, or less room to work with, or even though you've got massive amounts of room here in the bay. So that's essentially the job. The hardest part is that last plug, taking that one out. Okay, so I think while you're at it, you might as well clean the intake. I'll do another video of that, just a quick one, but not in this video. We'll just do the plugs. So what I sometimes do, just in case, is take the battery cables off, just in case. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Don't have to set the clock and your radio up again. That's all. I'm pretty okay with that. So all good. So let's get it started. I'll take the battery off. Take these 8 bolts off. It's now these are torque screws. So I better show you the tools you need. Not many. Gloves would be good because there's a bit of oil in and around that cover. So you need sockets. Now they are so the quarter to take the torque screws off of the black cover. Initially you will need this, I think it's 30, yeah, 30, that one there. You'll need this to take the last one off because there's no room. So that one there. You need the plugs, of course, and I've got this socket set here to show you, two sockets here to show you that I've got one on with the 10mm for those bolts, and then this one here is to take out the plugs. So the back one needs this extender, flexible extender, I don't know what to call it, and the plugs themselves are a 5/8 socket to get them out. Okay, now the important part with plugs, as always, is not to cross through them. Taking them out, be very careful taking them out and be extra careful putting them in. Sometimes the coils, you have to take the coils out to get to the plug, so the coils will sometimes split. You can put them back on as well. Okay, so let's get started. And I've just got a bucket full of bolts, that's always handy. Okay, so first thing we do, I'll get the battery off. Pretty sure that's a 10mm. Okay. Sometimes I'll hold just holding the frame with one hand or with the other. That's the problem with the system. So sometimes I'll just shut the camera off to work with 2 hands. Okay, guys. Okay, battery's on. So now we'll take the bolts off from the intake. Okay, so take that off. One, make sure not to drop anything, which is why some of these times I'm going to have to use 2 hands and shut the phone or the camera off. I don't have a stand. Okay, that's also, I'll take these 2 off and then start taking off these torque screw nuts, whatever they are. And once I get to the tough bits, I'll turn the camera back on. Okay guys, I've got both those 10mm nuts off. So we don't lose them. And then you take this little hose off. That just pulls off on both ends, like that. Okay, that's it. And the bucket and the intake you might have to use a force, but it just pulls off. You don't have to unscrew anything, which is really handy. That's it. So it just pulls off a little bit of force, and then you can lift that up. You can lift that up and out of the way. You need it out of the way. I just leave it like that, so you get some space to work with. So it reveals. There's my intake. Throttle body, I should say. Throttle body. It's a bit dirty, so I'll do a video on that, cleaning that up. But for now, I'll stick with the plugs. So there's reveals that other bolt underneath the intake. You got to get to that. So let me get to the last one just to show you, and then I'll take the rest off. So you need to loosen it with the hand torque screw tool. It's a good idea. Now some cars are slightly different here and there. I think some may give you some extra space, but this hose just comes off and you can pull that to the back, and then you can go ahead and unscrew that. Slowly it is, sorry, unscrew, not tighten. Obviously it's going to take some time to do this one, so once you've got it loose you can do it by hand, but don't drop it. Or maybe you don't want to put this one back in. Save the next person some shizer. And yourself maybe. So just take that one off. Hopefully it's not loose enough. Alright, so I won't bore you with this, so I'll just take all these off. This hose, if you've got this, just comes off. Obviously got to take the oil cap off and take this black cover off to reveal. I will just mention these torque screws have a washer as well, so just be careful. Be nice to keep everything intact, so that's a washer. Okay. Take the cap off, and then you take the black cover off. Some of the bolts don't come out, so I'll just lift them in there and just take them off with the black cover. Just move that hose out of the way, and that's it. Okay guys, that's the cover off. That reveals your coil packs, your coils, and lots of dirt and oil. Not a lot, but some dirt and oil. The coil packs, and then what you've got to do is you've got to unclip. There's a button here to press, and pull off the electrical connectors. Move it out of the way, and then you've got to pull these coil packs out. They're very hard to get out. Some of them, even these plugs are hard. They pull off because they're so tight. Now you can't get these plugs wrong. Essentially, they've made it that way that they only reach that coil, so there's no numbering needed here. That's the sixth one is always the painful one, or the last one I keep saying, because you just got to lean over the car and reach, and you've got to I might show you this one being the hardest to do. I might show you this one. So even unplugging these are a bit of a pain, so 2 hands is probably needed, and then you've got to take the coil pack out and get the spark plug out. So give me a sec. Now I've just unclipped all the electrical connectors or plugs all the way along. Now it's just a case of pulling the coil packs out. Now the front one I've done, so that comes out easy enough, and that's what the coil pack looks like. Now this one's on an angle because that's the design of the engine. It's not a problem or a fault, as far as I know. So I'll keep that to the side. Now, pulling them out, it's a bit of a pain actually, and some of them will split. I'll show you if this one splits. It's you've got it now. You can leverage it with a screwdriver or something to pull it out. So I'll just pull it out. It takes two hands, unfortunately. So this is what happens. It comes out split like that, and the rubber's still in there. Don't know if you can see that. So you've got to use a screwdriver or something to get it out. Probably not the best way to do it, but that's all I've got. So have to get it out. Okay. Just a bit of an update, guys. So if it does get, I mean, with the split of the coils, like I've split one of the rubbers, as you can see there. Still probably usable, but I may end up replacing anyway. So when they split like that, this rubber bit, the only way I've found to get it out after breaking one is a long nose pliers. This is the best way for me. Now boys, I don't know if you guys have got anything better. So squeeze that and try and get it down the hole as much as you can, the long nose pliers, and then pull that out. And you may damage it, you may not. Be prepared to, I guess, either test it or get new core packs. I might as well get new core packs now. I mean, I don't know how long they've been in either. So I'm up to 4, and 3 of them have split out of 4. So up to the last 2. Okay, I've got all 6 core packs out. Now, yours may not be as hard to get out. These have probably been in there for a while. I've managed to put the rubber end back on, even on the split one, so I may use them to test, see how it goes. Okay, so the next is to get the spark plugs out. The main reason why we're here. I'll get kicking on that. Now, I think the first 5 are pretty simple, so I'll show you how to, well not how to, but how I'm going to take out the last one. So I've got my socket here with the extender here, and so if I drop that in, now you don't have a lot of room down there, and I'll just show you. Yeah, you don't have a lot of room down there, so the socket you need is this one, and it needs to be thin enough to drop into the hole, just using that as an example. You see that? And then you need to feel so that you can get the socket over the spark plug. So I'm dropping this one in. You see that? Now you've got enough room, just enough to get the spark plug out. Now see, I can feel that now, so that's, I can remove that. So I need 2 hands, guys. Okay guys, I got that last plug out, and that's what it looks like. Took a while, so take your time, and this has been in quite a while. Now if I pull this one out, the other thing I should mention is you need a socket with the rubber insert inside, so it grabs the spark plug, essentially like the core packs. The rubber goes in and grabs the, so I'll pull this one out, and that's it. And have a look at that. So that's a genuine Ford spark plug. So that's got to be the original spark plug from factory, because mechanics normally don't go with the genuine unless it went back to the dealership to get spark plugs change, but I doubt it given I guess I don't really know, but that's what I'm guessing. And if it is the original, it's done really well. 190,000 Ks and since 2008. Wow. If I compare it to a new one, let's pull out a new one and have a look. So, just to have a look at the difference in the gap. So that's a new one. Let's see if I can hold it in one piece. Not one piece, but together so you can see it side by side. So that's the new one. Just place it here, I suppose. Give me a second. So that's it there. It's really worn, and there's the new one. So that tells you. Picture. Okay. There you go. A bit of advice is you'll feel when you put the socket down, it'll clip in, and then when you turn, that's when you know it's in place and it's actually grabbed the spark plug. I will say, guys, this is a painfully slow process. I'm just being extra careful and taking my time. So just be careful, I suppose.
Used to be a door here?
I'm recording. So again, guys, the back one is the hardest to get in. You have to get the little adapter back and put the spark plug on the end and just get a feel, I guess. Come on. Just get a feel for it. Alright. Just get a feel for it. And then put it in by hand first. Right? Just get a feel for it by hand. And then once you're good, if you feel like, you know, there's any thread of cross-threading, just unscrew and start again. You better be safe than sorry. That's what I'm doing now, and really taking my time putting them in, so unfortunately I'm just extra cautious. Okay, so it's just taking a little bit longer than normal. Okay guys, so all my spark plugs are in now, as you can see. So as I said before, the mechanic said just hand tighten until you can't tighten anymore, and not to over tighten, but you don't want them loose either. Okay, so just be careful with that. I've just checked them all just ever so slightly with the socket, just a little bit more, and they feel good. I'm going to put the old coils back in just to give it a test, because I don't have, shops are closed today and I don't have new coils, so I'll just test these ones. I won't put the cover back on for now, and just go for a road test and see how it goes. Okay, so everything, you just reverse it basically. Put the plugs back in, coils back in. I've lined mine up just in case. I'm not sure, 100% sure if anyone knows whether they need to be in order, but I've lined them up in order as to how they go back in. So just keeping them the same as they came out. They all look the same with the slight angle, but I'm not sure. I haven't looked that up, and if anyone wants to comment on that, let me know. Also, the best time to work on a car is when it's cool. So I initially started this when it was hot, and you know, everything's too hot to touch, so that's not always a good thing. So I waited for the car to cool down and started work. So that's just a bit of advice, guys. Okay. Now when you are putting the coils back in, I should say, they sometimes, well, all the time I think, it doesn't feel like it sits in. You can't really tell. I mean, you push it all the way down and that's in. It feels a bit loose, but that's how it's supposed to be, I think. So all you're going to do is push it back in, and then connect the still must have one hand here. Connect that back up. Okay, connect that back up and push down again. Just checking all the clips are in properly as well. Okay. Another thing I should have mentioned earlier was the spark plugs when I took them out. Because these ones were in for so long, they took a bit of persuading to get out, and I did it really slowly, so I took my time. Okay, just the word of warning there, spark plugs are always problematic to get out, I think. I remember a mechanic trying to do a Toyota Orion I had, and he said they just did not want to come out, so you have to be very careful. Okay, all the coil packs are in and plugged in. I've got the oil cap on. I've put that back on. I'm leaving the cover off for now, just to start it up to see if it starts and go a bit of a drive. Just put the intake back on. Okay, as I said, guys, that just pushes on. So just pushing it back on, it'll slide back on. See that? That's it. Just slides back on, and then you've got to, don't forget that little, I don't know, breather or something. Just got to put that back on. Put one bolt. Okay, just so it holds on. Alright, just for testing purposes, put this hose back on. I don't think it matters which way you put that. There we go. Just make sure you check everything. Yep. Hose. Let's connect that. Okay. I'll put the battery leads back on, and we'll see if it starts up. Okay. So let's put these on. Tighten that up. Okay, here we go. See if it starts. Oh! That's it, guys. So thank you for watching, and I hope this video helped. You can hear it there running and everything. So you put the cover back on once you're ready and done the road test and happy with everything. Okay. Just to follow up, adding to this video is on day 2 I actually decided to replace the coils as well. Here they are, just some super cheap caliber ones, 6 of them. I'll put a link in to let you know how much they cost as well. I think from memory they were like $22 each, something like that. Don't quote me. I'll put the link in so you can see that. So there they are. The reason I decided to replace them is I might as well, while I'm doing the plugs, and I damaged one of the coils, the old coils, that much that my mechanic friend said I can still use it, but I wasn't happy with it. Like I totally when it failed to start the first time, I looked at one of the coils and pulled them out and actually broke it. Like there you can see. So I just decided to go and buy more coils and just replace them as well, as you can see. And they're pretty straightforward, as you can see in the video. You just push them down until they click in, and plug the electrics in and put the top cover on, and you're good to go essentially, guys. Oh, oops, wrong photos. Oh, that's not the engine. I'm sure that's it. That's more like it. Look, thanks guys for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe. Pushes me to do more videos. These do take a long time, but I do appreciate it. Thanks.